Hello and good morning guys, and welcome back to the next part in the 5 Builder 1 City collaboration project. And also, hello, I'm back for this video at least. It's been much longer than I expected, to be honest. I knew I was going to be extremely busy this spring semester, but I didn't expect it to quite drag out for so long. I'm sorry, I guess, for this, but you know what, it's just like how life is sometimes. I really hope to get back to making these things more often again, because I have really been missing it, to be honest. It's something I miss doing a lot. But anyway, today, let's be happy for the things we have today. We have a video today. So, this is the 5 Builder 1 City collaboration, which has gone on quite a bit. Like, I think I did my last build here in December, I recall. And since then, like, all the other creators have been building out the city so much, and the last episode, Imperator did this here build for his highway and bridge network setup, which is just amazing. It really was tempting to sort of like, you know what, wouldn't it be nice just to build up this area? But I didn't have any plans, and in general, I have to say, I wasn't like super excited about this because I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what I wanted to build. I felt no inspiration, and I felt super stressed with all the other stuff going on. But then I hopped onto a Discord voice call with my friend Hengamer, and I don't know how much this was Hen's idea or if it was my idea, but I just started brainstorming, and we came up with a really cool idea to make I think we came up, yeah, it has to be like a collaborative thing, but basically we came up with the idea to make a winter sport stadium complex, kind of inspired by Holmenkollen in Oslo, and also the Olympic winter sports stadium in like Lillehammer and other places around the world. It doesn't have to be one particular one, but it will feature like a large ski jump, cross-country skiing stadium, maybe even a biathlon, like the ski shooting competition. It's weird that it's called biathlon. That's a weird name, but anyway, and that kind of stuff. And also, because we have lots of dead ends for the roads here, it would make sense to connect it up with like a suburb all the way up to the stadium. So I've actually already done a practice build of this, which I wish I recorded in retrospect because it turned out exactly how I wanted. I really hope I managed to make it work today. So let's just get right into it. Oh, and before I start, I have to say I will be cheating today. I have decided the only way to make the ski jump is going to be by using DevUI. So I'm just going to hop into the simulation, bypass validation results. I'll use it sparingly. I'll use it for, I think I only actually use it for the ski jump itself, nothing else. But keep in mind, I am actually cheating today, so let's hop into it and hope this won't be an 8-hour time lapse and maybe like, I don't know, like a 30-minute one? Who knows? Yeah, see you on the other side, guys. So, this was a very fun build. As I think I might have said, I practiced this once before. I often practice stuff, I've noticed. It takes a lot longer, but it's sort of, the builds I'm doing a lot of the times like just take a lot of figuring out before I can actually try them or dare try them recording, because it's the difference between like maybe a 2 or 3 hour recording, as this one was, and like an 11-hour recording or something like that. So and that becomes like, I'm not very good at video, so it like becomes a very problematic for me to try to just figure out the logistics of it. Anyway, I'm starting with the ski jump. The ski jump is the most complicated part. It's the part that needs the cheating, the bypass validation, basically the built-in anarchy. And I'm using these covered pedestrian paths, which I'm then downgrading to regular paths. But the reason why the covered paths are good because they have a higher height limit. I can place them higher above the ground. I I do keep, I think, like one short segment at the top with this covered walkway, because it kind of looks just like it's the starting. It's like the place where you would sort of connect to the tower. And the tower is actually I unlocked that. You could maybe see I unlocked the Firewatch tower. I also unlocked a few new tiles that I maybe should have done before, but yeah. We unlocked a few more tiles and the Firewatch tower because it just fits so well, I think. When I was talking with Hengamer about this build, he said that, but you need to build something so that you can get up that tower, because I hadn't figured out the Firewatch tower. And then just out of sheer luck, it worked out. Found the Firewatch tower, and rest is history. Let's not be so dramatic about it. It's a Cities Skylines build. It's not history or anything like that, you know. Anyway, it's a little bit of a struggle. I want to try to get the proportions, like the slope and everything right. I'm not claiming that anything here is actually proportional, especially not the slope and how steep it is. I've tried to measure it, like sort of gauge it like by eye, like how it looks in the real life examples, but I did measure the lengths a little bit, so I have a rough idea of like what lengths are appropriate. But there's more geometry in these ski jumps than you actually would imagine, because it's not just like a ramp and like a linear slope going down the hill. The slope needs to be like, has a hump in it. I'm not sure why. I've never done ski jumping. I will never try ski jumping. It's just like one of those sports that is very interesting. to the fact that it exists interests me a lot, but I'm not interested in trying it. It feels like it's a little bit suicidal, if you ask me, to be honest. Like just jumping out 200 meters or so, like jumping if with anything is just not a good idea, I think. But it has this hump, and I assume it has to do with, I mean, you want to land in a, depending on like how far you jump and like what your speed is and like your I guess your angle of attack maybe, or like I don't know, like how you're falling, you want to land differently, and I assume that hump has something to do with that. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I do manage to get kind of using the terraforming to kind of get a hump going, and it looks decent, even though I do struggle quite a lot when I'm doing these paths here as to indicate the boundaries of the landing slope. It's gonna work out. This actually worked out a lot easier on my practice run though, so I'm not sure why it took me longer when I did it this time. But it's good because I have prepared lots of other things to talk about. So the real life examples, like of this whole build, and in particular the ski jump part, are probably mostly from Norway, from Oslo, Holmenkollen, which is the famous sort of ski winter sport center on the hills outside of Oslo. It has amazing views of the city, like it has a tram or a light rail going up all the way to it, which spoiler alert, we will also have a light rail or a tram going up the hill. So it's very similar in that way. I also try to make like some spectator stands near the bottom of the hill that remind of Holmenkollen. But I'm also looking a little bit at the Olympic ski park, I guess, in Lillehammer. Lillehammer is also in Norway, like maybe 200 or 300 kilometers, a bit north of Oslo. I'm not sure how far, but they hosted the Olympics in 1994, and so it's relatively recently, I guess. Not really, but yeah, it's. I was alive for that Olympics at least, so I don't remember it that much, but but it also has a similar very similar ski jump setup. Maybe more for the spectator stand part, and Holmenkollen is kind of unique. I should say like what I'm doing here. Like, I don't have any good way of aligning stuff in Cities Skylines 2 yet. This is something I would rely heavily on Move It and the mirror function for in Cities Skylines 1. But here I'm trying to like make temporary guides. You can see those lines, those paths that aren't connected to anything to the side. They are actually like length measurements, and I'm doing like extended, like straight lines to sort of just get the same angle on both sides of these boundaries. It's a weird solution. I don't think it's actually very accurate, but yeah. It seemed to work out pretty well in this case, but I'm not too worried about like exact symmetry either here, so close enough. Like, if you don't obviously notice it, it's fine. These are my first sort of spectator stands, or tries with them anyway. You could go pretty crazy using the pedestrian paths in this game. I think pedestrian paths are probably the new monorail tracks so far anyway, in that they are like networks. They're very thin and narrow, and you can do a lot of stuff with them probably. For example, these tiered stands, they have, I mean, I guess they have some issues as well. They have the railings that you don't always want. They do this snapping thing because networks snap in Cities Skylines 2. But I think they're pretty flexible, and the fact that I could use them to create these spectator stands here is a good testament for that. We'll use them for the other sort of stadium in this sports complex also, but more on that when we get here. I delete that ruler marker thing that sort of roughly gave you the idea of the lengths. So this next part is actually the biathlon stadium, or like maybe just the generic ski stadium that can host biathlon events. Biathlon is basically the sport in that we know of in Swedish as ski shooting. It's a weird name, I think, biathlon, but I guess it's two sports. It's biathlon, it's two sports. So I guess it makes sense from the logic of the naming logic. But I mean, there's plenty of sports that could be considered like two sports. So I think it's like, I think ski shooting is a little bit obscure to just claim the name of biathlon. But maybe I'm just gonna make a lot of people angry about this. But anyway, it's the name, it's the English name for it, and yeah, I have to accept that. So in biathlon, I guess, to anybody who's no idea about skiing or like ski winter sports at all, I should probably try to explain my understanding of it anyway. But yeah, I guess in ski jumping, you go off a ramp and you jump far, and you try to land in a good way. I think there's sort of an aspect of style as well when it comes to the landing. You can't just like jump further than any human ever and just fall. You have to actually land. But that's basically my understanding of ski jumping. Biathlon is basically you're doing cross-country skiing, which I'm doing the cross-country skiing tracks right now. I'm using the gravel roads for that, and then like while you're doing like these maybe 4 laps or like a few laps on a circuit or like any sort of distance really, I guess. And then you do when you are the most tired, you go back to this sort of stadium, and then you do some shooting. You're carrying a rifle on your back the whole way, and I think it's a 22 caliber rifle. It's like it's not a military rifle or anything like that. It's a pretty militaristic sport, I guess, but it's not really that kind of weapons you're using anyway. And yeah, then you're just trying to hit the targets. You hit 5 targets. If you miss targets, you have to ski like extra bonus rounds, which will take more time. it's all about being quick, but not so quick that you're actually getting like exhausted and you won't hit anything. Like it's a pretty interesting sport actually in many ways, because you could of course just go full out on like skiing faster than everybody, but then you would probably be like really bad at shooting. So it's also really hard to shoot when you are tired, or shoot accurately, I should say. We tried doing this at one point when I was in the army, but not with skiing, but by running a distance and then shooting, trying to shoot accurately, and it turned out horrible for basically everybody involved. I remember, like everybody was just like, this is not fun. We were missing a lot. We had to run because we would be running extra bonus laps. Oh, yeah, it was not a fun time. Shooting while under the influence of stress and tiredness or shortness of breath is much harder than it seems. I don't know. I guess that's my take on that. I respect the athletes. It's probably a really hard sport. And here you can see I'm making the stands for basically that stadium. Like, it could also act as just a regular cross-country skiing stadium, but it has the ability to host biathlon events because of that small like shooting gallery on the edge, neatly placed towards the hill, so that like it's the safest location for it, I think. And here I am placing the Intelligence HQ, I think it's called. Like, it's a big police building, and the reason I'm placing this is because I think it kind of looks like it could be some kind of stadium, like indoor stadium. It could be maybe even a hockey stadium. Like, so this would complete this means our city would be basically ready to host the Winter Olympics with that addition. Like, we have a complete winter sports complex, I guess. I shouldn't say complete because there's more sports to the Winter Olympics, I guess, but I was actually considering adding a alpine sort of downhill skiing aspect to this park, but I ended up not going for it because the location isn't really that good for alpine skiing resort or like complex. The slopes would either be way too steep or way too shallow, so I just didn't do it. Maybe we could add that some other place in this build, or I'll do it on some other build altogether. But I really like making ski resorts. I've made them several times in Cities Skylines 1, always super fun. There's a video of me making one in Cities Skylines 1, I'm pretty sure. But not gonna be in this complex anyway. So Hengamer was desperately trying to get me to do that though. Here I decide that I want some more. If I'm not gonna do the ski resort, basically, I should add just more cross-country tracks. And I mean, when you're looking at this, I'm looking at this. I'm placing them and like glancing over the slope indicator and like, so that I don't accidentally make these super steep. But I've also noticed sometimes cross-country skiing slopes are very steep, especially like for professional athletes. They're expected to basically go up pretty steep slopes on skis, which also is kind of should earn my respect, but it's not something I would enjoy doing, I think. I'm also doing these sort of tunnels. I'm struggling with them a little bit here, but like doing some tunnels where the ski track actually goes underneath the road and it goes underneath itself, I guess. The ski track goes underneath the other ski track and the road. So something you also see in places like, definitely in places like Holmenkollen, and in other like large ski stadiums. Just struggling a little bit with the slope here. Eventually it turns out fine though. Oh. Yes, so here I think I changed this road for a 3-lane road so that it becomes basically like a turn-in lane towards the stadium / police HQ. Because this thing has a huge parking lot. That's what makes it look like a stadium to me. It has that huge parking lot that it kind of makes sense that most cars or most traffic driving up here would take the turn into that parking lot. Some might continue up to the upper level, which also has like a few parking lot, and I even saw some offices, I should say, around the stadium, like to make it look like there's some kind of, just buildings surrounding the stadium, which you often also have, but it doesn't look the greatest, to be honest. Maybe some ploppable buildings would have been better. Maybe even industry buildings. Maybe I should have just done industry here, but offices are fine. And here you can see me, I finally get that bridge and tunnel going, and I extend the ski track out over on this side. I'm not a cross-country ski track designer, which you can probably tell. I have no idea how these work. I just try to make sure they're not too steep. Or too boring or too straight, I guess. Adding some shortcuts here and there. There's not a lot. There's not a lot going through my brain when I'm doing builds like this. I'm just like really, really vibing. I have this idea how I think it works. I don't often like look up like exactly how it's supposed to work. I tried looking up the ski jump dimensions, but I sort of just like, you know what? It's fine. I feel like that way gives me like the opportunity to be more creative about it. And sometimes it will lead to me just doing stuff that is completely unrealistic or just completely bonkers and dumb. But I think this build, you can't really... I don't have any any big complaints, to be honest. I think it turned out pretty good. The ski complex, or the winter sport complex part, is actually pretty soon finished. So the second part of this video, which I might actually cut down it because it might be a little bit too long and a little bit too boring, is actually going to be building a suburb that connects up this complex with the rest of the city. So it kind of becomes it becomes much more like Holmenkollen in Oslo. The more I think about it, it's basically just Holmenkollen we're building here. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I might keep it in if I have enough interesting stuff to talk about. That's going to be the main concern, I guess. As you can tell, I don't have all that much time for making the best quality video here today. I'm trying my best. I'm definitely trying to like do my usual standard, I guess, but yeah, in general I've been very busy lately, unfortunately, it's like my own. I've been very busy with school. I have a lot of schoolwork and other stuff, but mostly it's school, and it's fine. It's by my own choosing. This period I'm studying like 150%, where 100% is supposed to be like full-time, like a full-time employment, I guess. It's not really that, but still, I'm studying more than maybe I should have chosen to. It's fun stuff though. It's stuff that gets me excited. I'm literally studying a course right now in sustainable city building. That's what it's called. It's more like, I guess, city development or city planning, maybe. But yeah. So it's definitely stuff that's related to this and my interests. So definitely interesting times ahead with that. I don't want to sacrifice that right now, but I am also really missing making the videos and playing this game and doing all the stuff I used to do much more when I had more time. But I think I'm pretty confident that I will be able to do that in due time. Hopefully at least this summer I'll be able to like come back and yeah, you know, have the good old days again. I know it's very dangerous to just say that, but I have a really good feeling. Like I don't think there's not a lot of other things that should come in the way. I'm not gonna jinx it. You know, I should just stop talking about it. Hopefully by late spring or like July, I'm aiming to like be able to do more of this again. Just as we're finishing up this, the trees are such an important part of this. I'm just adding a huge amount of pine trees and spruces, conifers, I guess, and a few others, but just adding a lot of trees. I'm doing the mix where some trees are placed in a regular line, like one by one, where it feels like, you know, like more fancy, like it makes more sense to have them planted. But in some cases, for the most part of this build, I'm just using the brush, just filling the areas and like letting the game try to get in as many trees as it can. This is one of those things that I think it works a little bit better in Cities Skylines 1. I can't really say why, but the tree brushes are a little bit, I feel like they're a little bit weak. They're weak. Do you even lift tree brush? Yeah, I don't know. Something like you have 100% strength, and you hold down on an area, it just fills slowly, like one tree at a time still. Whereas in Cities Skylines, or maybe I'm confusing this a little bit too much with the Cities Skylines 1 mod forest brush, which has an extremely strong forest tool, I guess. But anyway, it works. It absolutely works. It's just maybe I have some slight feedback on it. Speaking of that, when this video goes live, and also while I'm recording it, there's a lot of stuff going on in the Cities Skylines 2 world. Namely, the Paradox mod's launch is just a few days away, and so is the official editor launch. And there's a beaches and I don't want to call it, what's it called? Beach assets, beachfront. There's a expansion pack, one of the packs that got included if you bought the Ultimate Edition, I believe. Yeah, all that is releasing on Monday, next Monday. Oh, here you can see the reference to Hengamer, Hengamer: It's like Holmenkollen but Hengamer, so I thought it was funny. It's actually really bad, but I'm sorry for that. Yes. Oh, and now I'm starting to do the tram stuff. Oh my goodness. But I wasn't finished talking about my my talk about the stuff. Yes. So there's a lot of new stuff happening for Cities Skylines 2. A lot of new stuff that we've been waiting for quite a while. I have been in the sort of beta for Paradox mods and the early access to the editor. I had plans to make like maps. I really wanted to make like a map for the official release, to like as a celebration kind of thing. But I don't think that's gonna happen, unfortunately. As I'm recording this, at least Wednesday on the 20th. It goes live on Monday the 25th, I believe. I think it's a Monday. Might be. Oh my god! What if it's a Tuesday? It's Monday. Okay, good. I was planning to make a map, but I don't think I'll be able to. As with other things, it takes time. I don't have a lot of time, unfortunately, right now. I think part of that is, due to my situation, as I've already said. But I think also it kind of has something to do with the editor itself. Like it's, or the process in the editor. It takes quite a long time to make a good map, I think, in Cities Skylines 2. I think it takes longer in Cities Skylines 2 than it takes in Cities Skylines 1. Which is like a little bit of a bummer for me. I'm a little bit concerned about it. I'm not too concerned. I've seen some pretty amazing maps people have created. People have created amazing maps and uploaded to the Thunder Store also I should say. But so it's obviously possible. It's just like it's not the same thing. I've noticed like I'm extremely reliant on my mods, on like mods like Network Multitool, Move It, the Fine Road tools, the Network Anarchy, all that stuff. So when I tried to make, I guess I can spoil or like a hint. I just tried to make a Costa Azura sort of replica without trying to figure anything new out. Just basically make a copy of the Costa Azura map for Cities Skylines II. I imported the height map and the terrain and all that stuff, and got the water to slowly sort of fill in. But the networks just were so tedious to make. Basically, the best way I've found so far to make networks is the same way as doing it in game. With the terraforming, I mean, basically what I'm doing now, I'm like doing terraforming and smoothing the terrain, and after that just dragging out the roads on top of it, and then you can revert the terrain by just re-importing the height map or something like that. But I don't, yeah, as I said, there's plenty of reasons why I probably won't make a map for the official launch anyway, and it's a little bit sad, but yeah. But I have seen, but yeah, rest assured, it's not just relying on me. There's plenty of other creators, and I've seen some pretty cool maps already. So yeah. Most of all, I think we should be excited about the code modding aspect of it, though. Like the fact that now we're gonna have like a proper support, and like basically, as far as I'm concerned, like everything with code modding is ready to go. I mean, it was already possible to do code mods, but with the complete Paradox mod support for it, it's going to be in theory at least as it was. So yeah. Yeah, that's going to be very exciting. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I've seen some mods already uploaded, but I don't know, like. I'm just a little bit paranoid. I don't want to say anything or spoil anything of that matter. You'll see when we get there. There's going to be some fun stuff, some fun surprises when you open Paradox mods for the first time. Or it's not going to be. Maybe everybody's going to already. Maybe everybody have at this point when you're watching this. Maybe everybody already knows all the mods that will be there on the 25th. But yeah, I don't want to be the person who spoils it. You'll have to get those spoilers somewhere else. So. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time. Yes. So, looking at my time, I have something like 20 minutes at least left of the video. And I literally ran out of everything I had prepared to talk about. So, whenever that happens, if I have something to talk about from the start, that is, I mean, you really can't. I really can't stress how much of a lazy work this is for me. Like how bad I do everything with these videos. I don't know why you guys watch them. To be honest, I wouldn't watch me. I don't think so anyway. But whenever I have points to talk about, which is not often, and whenever I run out of them, I just revert to talking about whatever happens on the screen, like what I'm doing. And here I'm just reconfiguring the highway interchanges that I did, or I guess the road network in general, like that I did for episode 3 for my first part. And connecting it up. As I said, this is going to be a new suburb of a city. It's going to be a very stark contrast to the first build that was very regular, very gridded. Everything here is going to be much more, I don't want to say organic, but it's going to be shapes that follow the terrain curves much more, like, or the height curves, the contour lines. It is going to be much more organic. There, I did it. But it's going to be a decent build. I had this before I started I don't even remember. I might have already said this, but before I started building the ski resort, I didn't know what to build. I was pretty bummed out, to be honest. Like I just couldn't figure out a good build for today. So I was really close to just like building the most boring suburb possible in the hills, in the same location, and just calling it like a boring suburb and just being very grumpy about it. Imagine that voiceover. It was so close that happened, but then just the ideas started coming and the inspiration struck, and this whole residential area, this whole suburb turned into a sideshow instead. So a sideshow with a meaning, though. It's still like pretty cool. Like you could have seen me make this tram line go all the way up. I'm going to try to make some transit-oriented development like along it, and have like more density near the stops. Basically, that's what I'm gonna try. So it's mostly going to be low density residential with some high rises or medium rises in the vicinity of the stations. There's not going to be a lot of stations, but yeah, the ones that are anyway. I also did notice that this city has a huge deficit in elementary school education. I don't know why. We have a lot of elementary schools. I'm not sure why, but so I decided to, before we start zoning here, we definitely need an elementary school, and we might even place a few more right away. I do go back into my first build and place a elementary school. So I also did notice a huge reason why the tram is here at all, and I would have probably forgotten about it, just ignored it, is that I believe it. Well, now I'm actually not sure who would have added the tram line, but there's a tram line going through the district I created back in episode 3, and that tram line like stops with the depot just as this district starts. So it was like almost too good to be true. Like I was gonna thank Sardis, but now I'm not sure if it was Sardis who built that. I've been out of the loop. I need to actually go back on that one and figure that one out, so I can shout them out properly. But basically, what I was going to say is a huge part of the tram line at all, this sort of pretty unique, interesting tram line, is that person's choice to just make a depot where they placed it, which is like just such a huge win for playing this game in the multiplayer way that we're playing this right now. I really wished this game would have had a proper multiplayer support. I've said it many times, and I will keep saying it. I think multiplayer is completely underrated with these kinds of games. I also think it's really fun, like, and I think like anybody who's ever tried anything like this, like just playing with a friend, like sending their saves over, or like just building collaborative, like it could be like just sharing movie exports. I'm like the big proponent of movie exports in Cities Skylines 1. Like anything like that, it just really becomes much more fun. So yeah, and that's one part of it. Like you get inspired, you see things that you wouldn't have thought of, that somebody else thought, and then you can make your own, your mind gets affected by the things others. Oh my god, now it's turning into pretentious artist talk again. But yeah, I like the multiplayer aspect of this game. I like that I think it's a huge win that you can do it still, even though it's not like a built-in feature. You don't have real-time multiplayer or anything like that. But yeah. Okay, multiplayer, good. Single player, also good. Real-time built-in multiplayer, dream. That's my dream stuff. Anyway, by the way, guys, did you know that there is a real-time multiplayer mod for Cities Skylines 1? And do you think those same people would try to make a mod for Cities Skylines 2? Somehow I think Cities Skylines 2 would be a bit more complicated. I just have a feeling it might be more complicated. I'm not sure why, but it feels... yeah.
well, never say never. Like if this would have been, I'm a huge supporter of the multiplayer mod if somebody decides to make it for this game anyway. I'll be probably one of the first to show it off and praise it. Yeah, so now starts the zoning. Everybody, I'm zoning this so badly. I actually have to go back a little bit off stream and fix the zoning because there's two big buildings when we're zoning the full length 6 deep zoning. The buildings at the slope just grow too close to each other and create the cliff texture everywhere in awkward ways. So I do go back and actually clean it up so that there's a bit more spacing between terrain difference levels, and I think that works better. Also makes it possible to add more trees. This area is not supposed to be a very dense area in general anyway, so I think that's a pretty good choice. I also don't think this area is not really made for high traffic, so it probably makes sense to just keep the density a little bit down. But it's a pretty lazy zoning job, as you can see. But rest assured, I will go back and fix it up a little bit off camera, I guess, or after I stopped recording. So I did actually record most of this build though, and I am playing it back to you almost completely without cuts. So the whole build was something like 3 hours. It's sped up 400%. I think it's fine. I mean, it's like better than my usual standard, to be honest, I think. Let me know what you think anyway. I mean, if it's crap, if you think like you don't have to. I guess you don't have to say it's crap. But if you have any constructive feedback, like let me know. Always interested. It's probably stuff I already know, but just say it anyway. I'm all ears for that kind of stuff. So. Yeah. So this part of zoning, when just every lot becomes a construction site, is kind of disgusting. I hate this part. I hate this part. I can't wait until like the buildings are grown in so that we don't have to have all the cranes. It looks so weird. I don't know how they would do it differently, to be honest. I'm not a huge like hater of the animation or anything like that. It's just like when all the buildings grow in at the same time. I think Cities Skylines 1 did it different. I mean, it worked better by basically being much more like the buildings would grow much slower and much more one at a time. I feel like in Cities Skylines 2 they grow all at once much more than in Cities Skylines 1. So I think that's maybe my. I mean, there was also like frustrations with buildings growing slow and like your power wasn't connected because you relied on some building, getting zoned in zoned in a specific order. So, I mean, it's like the grass is greener on the other side, I guess. But I guess I'm just like a little bit in the mood about ranting about stuff. So. That's what it. Oh, here's something super interesting. I found that we have with this new area, I managed to create a sort of capacity issue for the power lines, and this is me trying to fix it. Like first time ever, I'm getting this issue. I'm super excited about it, as you can tell. It's so dumb. It's also weird that I mean, it's dumb that I'm getting excited about it, but I'm a nerd, so, the way I decide to fix it eventually is that, we should probably add more transformer stations. I should have probably added a transformer station in my previous build for the first part, or for the episode 3 build, and I also decide to underground connect the power line over on the American side, so there's a bit of a loop. Now we have a high voltage loop for the power instead. And that fixed everything. For now anyway. But I think that playing with the sort of the capacity, the transmission, what's it called? The bottlenecks, yes, the bottlenecks. Like having these bottlenecks and having to fix them is a really fun part of a new fun feature with Cities Skylines 2 that I kind of regret that I never got the chance to fix it before, but now I did, so makes me happy. And here you get the city in winter for the last sort of 10 or so minutes of this video. We'll be building in winter because winter just set in, and I think it's good because it shows you how the winter sports stadium, I mean it is a winter sports stadium or complex, how it looks in the actual winter. I didn't have to cheese this or anything, no cheating, no dev mode, so it just felt very fitting to keep it in exactly as it came. I have also noticed since I last played this game, or since I last recorded a video on this, definitely winter has changed. It's become a little bit better. Now the trees get covered with snow. That's probably been the case for a long time, but I don't remember when that was added. Still not all the surfaces that should be covered get covered, but I believe that's something they might be working on anyway. So let's just hold. Let's hope for that in the future. Here I decide, like, we actually need some zoning up here as well, probably. I mean, it would make sense, so I'm zoning like a little bit more low density and some high density even near to the tram stop. So this is also going to be like a transit oriented development in a way, I guess. I'm glad these buildings, I happen to know that the 4x3 or 3x4 buildings, European medium density buildings, look really good in this sort of environment, so I just remembered that and decided to try them out, and yep, they're staying, at least some of them. I think I overdid it a little bit, but yeah. There's also like some other buildings I didn't really talk about up here, up this way, and those are like the groundwater pumping station, so there's a groundwater source here so we can pump some groundwater, but also it looks like just some more activity, some more stuff going on up here, and also the park maintenance facility, which probably a dumb location for it considering how far away it is from like most parks everywhere in the city, but yeah, sometimes you just need to add some services for variation, and that's what happened here. So yes, let's go. Now we're doing the transit-oriented development, just densifying near the tram stop in the middle. And this tram stop, I actually made it by using the bus road or the bus lane and placing a tram line onto the bus lane. So you can actually have a bus and tram road combined that way, and it works really well to like make a stop, because I think that road has crosswalks, whereas the tram doesn't. The tram road itself doesn't have crosswalks, I think. So that's just a small little hack, I guess. Nice. And we're also pretty close to the end of the video. There's not much more. I do some more tweaking in the residential area. I do some more trees, I place more trees, and such. But I think like we should probably start winding this thing down by talking about the future, which I already did. I don't know when my next video will be. I'm gunning for late spring or at least July. Sometime in July, I should be able to make a lot more videos again, or at least a few more videos. I don't want to jinx it. It's actually been so bad that since my last video, this channel I think is demonetized based on the inactivity measures put in place. So there is I'm not getting any ad revenue, which is fine. I never did this for the ad revenue or the money anyway, but if you want to support me still, like, you can always go to Patreon and do it that way. It's completely voluntary. There's not a lot of reasons, not a lot of expectations for you to do it, but just so you know, I should say something about the next episode of this series, the 5 Builder 1 City series, is going to be on Chelov's channel. I don't know how to pronounce that. I should have looked that up because I'm horrible, but I think it's Chelov. And yeah, they will be building in the 5 Builder 1 City next week, if all goes to plan at least. So you should check them out and follow their channel and get ready for the next part, I guess. And yeah, I don't have much more to say. Oh, this feels awkward. I'm sure there was something. Oh yeah, these are the final edits. I'm just smoothing out the terrain near the jumping tower a little bit. Okay. Yeah, it's been really fun being back, guys. I can't wait for the next opportunity we get to do something like this. I really hope it won't be too long. Enjoy the cinematics, and goodbye for now.